everyone. My name is Dr. Ayodeji Muideen Badmus. I want to welcome you again to our lesson, to our class. This is Ped430 Design and Production of Learning Material for Primary School Education. So you are welcome again, and today we're going to discuss about the method of producing instruction materials. We need it. We should know how to do that. At least for basic class, we should know how to producing some basic things that will make our teaching and learning more effective and efficient, and for better understanding on the part of the student too. So we talk about the strategies that are required in constructing a good letters, and then we discuss a grid and graph method. Then we also as well talk about the projection method to enlarge our class for larger classroom. So we have all these techniques, all this knowledge ahead of us. Let's sit back and enjoy ourselves. Let's go to the class. You are welcome. Now you are welcome back to the class. So this is page 430 and this is lesson 6. And once again, my name is Dr. Ayodeji Muideen Badmus, and the course title is Design and Production of Learning Materials for Primary School. So what are we going to learn today? Today we are going to state the method of producing learning materials. We are going to identify strategies of constructing good lettering, and we are going to analyze grid method of producing visual media. Then we are going to examine method of projecting learning materials. So let's take it one after the other. How to produce instructional materials. So the first one we are going to talk about is drawing. Drawing is a skill that are required by every teachers to use to at least to illustrate, to draw something on the board for students to learn better. And there's no way we can run away from the drawing. So if you are producing like a charts, maps, diagram, we need drawing. So drawing the skill that require to use lines or joining 2 points together. So another one is lettering. Lettering is inevitable that there's no way we teach in the classroom without writing on the board. Lettering is very important, and to write very well, it requires some skill. As a teacher, our lettering should be good, should be bold, should be legible for students to see as well. So more importantly, when we draw or when we produce some materials, we need to label. And from labeling, if the drawing is okay and the labeling is not okay, it will give another meaning to the drawing. So if once the drawing is okay and labeling is okay, and student can see the letter very well, it will add value to the instruction material. So another one is tracing. Tracing is a technique that involves the use of tracing paper to trace visual objects. There are some certain things that we like to use in the classroom to produce our instruction materials, like cutting out the picture from one textbook, from magazine, from somewhere. So there is a method that we had kerosene or any transparent materials on the paper, and then we trace the picture out. And in some cases we can use our blade, our sharp object, to trace out or cut out a particular object that we may like to use in the class. That is a skill that is very important. So whatever we cut out, we can place them on the board, on the cardboard for students to see. So another method is that we have modeling. The modeling, these are the materials that have breadth, length, and width. They are three-dimensional objects, and they can also be produced and used for better understanding of learning. And then we can make use of paper mache. At times our teacher give us assignment to produce a particular object. We make use of paper mache. Paper mache is the using of paper with starch or with something that can put them together, and then we can use clay and we can use POP for modeling materials. So it's a skill that can bring out or to improvise for a particular instruction materials for better understanding in the classroom. So another one is copying. Copying is the process of copying original materials to a cardboard sheet to facilitate learning. So it's a place where we have original material somewhere and we want to use it for our teaching and learning process. We can as well these materials have been produced somewhere or by someone, and then we see that we can use it for our own lesson. We can make the photocopy, we can copy it. There are so many processes of doing that. We can make the photocopy, or we can copy it like the way it's being produced to facilitate our teaching and learning. Then we have lamination. This is use of cellophane or polythene bag to cover material for protection from damage. There are so many ways at which we can keep our instruction materials. We can laminate them, we can keep them somewhere. But the best of this lamination also can go with two-dimensional objects. These are dimensions that have the length and breadth, like picture, like map, like picture, like charts, and so many that we can laminate to keep and to use on so many occasions. So let's continue. We still have photograph. This is the real object can be brought to the class situation through pictures from the photograph. There are some pictures, there are some instruction material that cannot be brought to the classroom because they are bulky, they are dangerous, they are dangerous to women. Because like a wild animal now, there's no way we can bring animal like a lion to the class. But in teaching wild animal, they are very important to talk about. We can go to the zoo where we can find them, take their picture, and take it to the class. So these are the importance of using photograph. Then another one is mounting of picture. Mounting of picture is a skill that teacher need to acquire to use for better understanding and for instructional material usage in the classroom. How do we use this one? Like now a teacher that is teaching hands of government, and we need to talk about the executive. It requires president picture to be shown in the classroom, and there's no way we can bring the president to the class. We can cut out the president picture somewhere where we can see them, maybe in the magazine, maybe in the newspaper. A teacher can cut out the picture, then put it on the cardboard. When we put it on the cardboard or the plywood, we can place it, mount it on the wall like a classroom wall or on the chalkboard. So these are the methods that are required as a teacher that we need to familiarize ourselves with, and we need to know how to make use of them. Now let's talk about some of these discarded items. Some items that we may think they are not usable, they cannot use them again, but they are useful in producing instructional material. Now, number one is cartons. Cartons, they can be used to produce shapes of like mathematical shape, like a triangle, like a circle, like a parallelogram, also many things, and they can use them to put together and then bring about the three-dimensional object. So we have spoons too. Spoons can be used in the lab for specimens, for taking samples, and so many. And then we have so many like magazine, like a can, like a fork, like calendars and bottles. We have bottle tops, all these plates, we have pots. There are so many, matches, boxes. So all these things, there are so many that we can use. We regarded as a discarded item, but we can put together and use to produce instructional materials. Now let's do these class activities. Describe the procedure of producing any material utilizing tracing method. Thank you. Let's continue. Now let's talk about the lettering. Lettering is a major part of design, and those simple and basic ideas and knowledge will be very valuable at this point. So there are four basic methods of lettering. The first one, we have stencil lettering, we have freehand lettering, then we have letraset lettering, then we have iconocine lettering. So let's take it one after the other, like stencil. Now we have stencil. The stencil, this is a type of lettering, and they have different size, style, and sizes. It is very good in writing captioning or labeling. Then transparency, when we are making use of transparency at the at the overhead projector. So it is like ready-made lettering. We have ready-made stencil lettering. So, and this one is particularly those that we regard as the half-bad writing. So they can make use of stencil lettering guidance. We're familiar with them and we have seen them before. Like since we have made use of mathematical set before, they are inside there. So they have different style, they have in sizes, and we can make use of them. Then the second one, which is free handwriting. This is cheap and it can be done quickly and will also be attractive as long as it is legible, clear and neat if the general instructions are followed. There are some that we can write lowercase letters, and these lowercase letters are easily to read than capital letters, especially in writing many words. So there are some capital letters that should be for main titles and then sub caption, and so all the generals should be used for main title and sub caption. The instructions is like that should be applied to the free and lettering also. So when we are making capital letter, we should do so. There are some particular place that makes use of a capital letter. So then we have letter set instant lettering. These are usually commercially prepared letters and the number that can be carefully transferred to a design. So letter set is a basically is design where the user or whoever that don't use of them that can transfer it to where you want to produce the letter and place it and produce it there. So the letter set lettering is easy to use. Each sheet is transparent and has a backing sheet for preventing the letter from abrasion from handling and storage. So we can just select any required letters as long as the drawing guidelines can be followed. So these are the letter set lettering. And then the last one, which is sign lettering stencil, is a stencil, and this is simple to transfer as well like a letter set design, only that some letters such as A, P and D must be printed into operations of the brush in order to get a complete letters. So these are the techniques or methods that are required in lettering. So let's talk about the grid method. The grid method, this is the techniques that using tracing paper as well, but they involve following some basic guideline. We call them maybe 3:1, 5:7. We've used it before. So using how do you make use of this method? Use tracing paper, then putting kerosene, or we spread it over the paper to copy or trace out the illustration from the original copy. Then we draw the grid line over the assigned numbers to vertical and horizontal line. Then we draw a similar but bigger grid of desired proportion to the first grid. See that with corresponding numbers of the location of cardboard on other surface you wish to do the enlarged illustration. So whatever we have drawn on the original pictures, original some material that we want to copy, so we can extend it in a proportional way at which we desire for it to be large. Now the number 4 is that we transfer small portion of lines and curve on illustration on the tracing paper to the cardboard or surface on the whole illustration is drawn. So the projector method, like we have also seen, we have access to the slide. Projector method, it means we are going to use the projectors for this method to be used. Projector, they are the machine multimedia projector, we have overhead projector, we have a film strip projector, we have a slide projector, we have overhead. There are many opaque projector. So if we are going to use this method, we use this method to enlarge our illustration for students if at all we exposed to larger class. So if you have access to slide, few frames of the strip of film strip are already made transparency that are suitable for enlarging or copying on the poster on chart. They can easily be produced in the same way, so they can be used to enlarge our illustration, and then for all the students at the same time they can see the illustration on the board. So the size of the projected image can be determined by the distance between the projectors and the screen on which the cardboard is placed. So when we move away from the board, or from the projector screen, the larger the image. So the closer the projector to the screen, the smaller the image. Now let's do this one as a second class activities. In what ways projection method can be employed to facilitate teaching and learning process? Thank you so much and God bless you.